Hello, my name is Nicole, licensed clinician, and we're here talking about everyday things that impact our mental health and fitness. Revisiting the concept of alpha in nature, we concluded that it does occur in some species in the wild, just not in wolves, which is something that we commonly imagine when talking about alpha, even though this observation was retracted in 1999 by the guy who made the observation originally. The next species that often comes to mind are gorillas, with the image of the large silverback. Incidentally, the silver hair is a marker of the alpha or more dominant male, and they're generally about 6 feet tall. So there might be something to this whole idea that women prefer the salt and pepper hair and men over 6 feet. Anyway, an alpha male gorilla is responsible for leading the group to safe places to forage and rest. He defends the group against predators and rival males. He communicates with his troop, which maintains order and establishes his authority. And he's also nurturing and engages with younger gorillas in play. So silverbacks tend to be involved in the bulk of conflicts also, since it's their jobs to protect the troop as well as their position. So what does this all mean? A few things. One, he is involved and invested in the lives of most of them are his children. He doesn't actively seek out fights, even though conflict tends to find him. And the needs of the group are of the utmost importance to him. So now let's take a look at chimpanzees, whose social structure is a little bit more akin to humans. They have what's called a fission-fusion society, which means that individuals or small family groups may come and go from the main community, and purpose-driven groups can form. So, for example, a group of males may go hunt for meat, while a group of lactating females might watch after the young. Because of the comings and goings, though, there are often displays of aggression upon reuniting with the main group, particularly if a dominant male is reuniting, so he can reaffirm his place in the troop. Chimpanzees have a fairly complex political system, which creates a need for dominant males to behave more aggressively, even when their dominance is stable. Chimpanzees fight less often for mates and more often for rights to territories, whereas gorillas are generally a peaceable species. You can come and go through their territory and they really don't challenge. So, I've said in earlier videos that it's hard to look at nature to give us insight into what makes an alpha, since every species and every environment will require different characteristics of the alpha male, but we can look at nature to show us, in species and environments that somewhat parallel our own, why we may be attracted to certain characteristics in men, and why certain people take offense to those characteristics, primarily because the alphas have an easier time with mate selection and are industrious in finding and cultivating resources. They exhibit self control and self assurance, and as such, have a high level of resilience that enables them to continue to be challenged without introducing doubts about their claim to their position. They can be vulnerable, but are not fragile. Also, something to note is that there's usually one alpha to 20, 30, maybe even more, depending on what species you're looking at, uh, others. So, again, depending on what species you're looking at, there can be 2, 3, 4 other males, or there can be many more males. So, you're really looking at people who, were we suddenly in a primate species of some sort, might be beta males or kind of lower on the food chain, essentially males, more like omega males, or if you will. So, um, just because somebody is alpha doesn't make them the enemy. It If we shift our perspective, it really makes them more responsible and take the brunt of the stress and the responsibility and the burden of ensuring the safety and success of their progeny.